Hey guys, Ballatw here. It's Tuesday, it's 3 p.m. Eastern, so we got viewer VOD review, and it's gonna be a blast because I'm doing something a little bit special here, where we basically asked for VODs or highlights or clips or whatever about early game only, and I want to talk only about contesting your drop. All right, so this one is called How to Contest Your Drop. And we are going basically to go over a bunch of different early games, whether they won it or lost it. We're going to decide, or we're just going to talk about the good things, the bad things, and we're going to try to make kind of a checklist for all the different stages of early game. So should be fun. Should be fun. So let's get into it. First off, we've got Ghost and Josie. I'm going to turn down the volume a little bit. And they're dropping Shifty. So first thing, I want to kind of break this down into different stages of the drop, right? We're going to say the drop, right? The glide, whatever you want to call it. And we have the pre-engagement stage, which is like when you're looting, spotting, whatever. That's all that stuff. And then there's the engagement itself, or the engagements, right? This could loop. But I basically want to go through a checklist while we're like things that you have to do while you're doing these things. So I think these are three good stages, like three different stages. I think this is really the whole thing because you do different things during these. Obviously, you do something completely different during the glide than you do during the engagement and the pre-engagement. But I think these are kind of the three different stages of the early game. Not the early game, but the drop. But when you're contesting your first location, basically. Because after that, you have mats, everything is good. You don't 50-50, you have no risk of doing that at all. So we hear right now, Ghost, or whoever it is, I think it's Ghost. Yeah, they're calling out the players they're dropping. We see one guy right here, one guy right here. Okay, one thing I don't see him doing is looking to the left and looking to the right and looking above and looking below him, because there could be people who have a different, slightly different drop, right? But for sure, the first thing that we were talking about on the drop is, or that I like to talk about on the drop, and I think that it's important to do this more than anything, right, is spotting your opponents and being aware. That's the number one thing I have to recommend for people in their early game, is to make sure you're spotting your opponents. Okay, yeah, finally he looks to the left. Good. And I'll show you why that's important in a second, because Ghost actually, they end up getting contested, and we'll talk about the split as well. I think that's important. Actually, let's talk about the split right now, because we see these two guys are ending up going to the houses and they get Shifty supposedly to themselves. Okay, what's up, Ronaldo? Okay, so decide on the split, right? And what I mean by that is I want to basically figure out what I'm going to zone them out of, my opponents, and what we're going to take for ourselves and what we're going to possibly try to steal, right? So they are going for this house and this house. That means we can really put up a front right here, and we could have all of Shifty to ourselves. We could have this, all this, all this, all this. This could be all ours, right? We could force them to disengage this way. I got to be careful with what I'm drawing nowadays, when I'm doing all these different diagrams. Okay, so decide on the split. These guys have decided, well, mostly these guys decided for them, but you'll see in different areas, like Shifty is kind of weird, right? Because Shifty, I get, like when you're landing in here, there's no real split. I mean, there kind of is sometimes, because you can get like this area and you could split like the bottom like portions, I guess. There's some ways you could split Shifty, but it's hard to describe basically. So regardless, this is another huge key point, right? Land on known quantities. Land known quantities. Spotting a pump or a weapon that will be good, right? Way better than dropping and going through a door and not knowing whether there's anything on the other side of the door, right? Okay, this is why we need to be very, very aware, and we need to look all around on all sides rather than just spotting the obvious people, because this could happen, right? And in this case, this guy was so high that it didn't really matter. But he would have been aware, and he would have been able to basically even shoot him out of the sky and force him to go somewhere else. But in this case, it should be easy to clean up just because of how late he is. So it actually ends up being okay. So spotting your opponents and being aware, look all sides, right? This is not just horizontally. This is both look up, look down, look left, look right, everything. So 360 degrees and everything else. It's not just 360. How do you even call that? Damn, I forgot my math classes. Nice shot. The guy didn't even shoot. Good follow with the right hand peek. And the only thing I would recommend is slight more patience on going through that door. But he had the advantage anyway, so it doesn't matter. Does not matter. Okay. Good. Now.
Another guy. Yeah.
Oh, right. I forgot about the other guy. This is good. Okay. What they're doing, instead of like they hear him and this guy dives down on him, right? They do specifically something that's very good. They both sit on what I call positions of strength, and they could be positions of strength for this specific situation or on the POI in general or anything like that. But this guy boxes up really nice. They figure out what exactly is going on. They don't want to take any damage. Why? Because these guys are going to be coming pushing hard if they hear a fight. If they hear a fight, they're going to be like, yes, let's go push. And you could end up in a bad position where you are low and whatever. So no diving, no nothing like that. They just wait, they look, they both stay up on a position of strength against the guy that they're fighting. And even he backs up into a better position, which is this area, right? Because this is such a high natural high ground in almost all the spots that people are going to be fighting, right? Obviously the hill over here are a little bit higher and probably better, but this gives you vision over everything around you, and it's higher than everything that you're going to potentially fight, right? Look, he doesn't even jump down there. Perfect. Don't give up your positions of strength. Don't. All right, so that's basically, let's talk about pre-engagement and looting spotting. This is, we talked about positions of strength, right? A little bit. I'll maybe elaborate that on a little bit more. And then spotting, yeah. What he's doing right now, right? He knows that he has a position that's going to be outweighing anything that the guy down below can do, right? He can't do anything at all to Ghost. He can't do anything at all. So instead of worrying about him and instead of being very, you know, aggro on him or tunnel visioning at all, he looks over here because he knows that somebody else came over here. This is so good. This is so good. Spotting. And then another concept that I'd like to talk about a lot is zoning, right? Zoning. So if those guys start coming this way, he could start shooting them and force them not only to waste mats, but to take a position that they don't necessarily want to take. They want to take the straight route and get right in their face right away, or possibly take over the height and whatever. But if he starts zoning them out, then they have to decide something else. How can we approach this? They have to actually make a plan, right? So we'll talk about zoning probably a little bit later, maybe. But again, just constantly looking, and now farming. This is good as well. I don't particularly like the fact that he's farming the walls, because he could do other stuff, right? He could be farming like the tracks or the trees or whatever.
You got anything else besides the palm?
You going for this big pot?
Yep.
Yeah, I got a AR and a...
Then the other thing about what they're doing right now, the fact that they're both doing the same thing is kind of a little inefficient, right? Kind of a little inefficient. I would prefer that he takes exactly what Chad is saying right now, taking the roof, and then one other person be looting, at least looting the stuff that's safe to loot, right? On top. They know there's somebody below. They can let him, especially because they don't know what's going on the other side. They haven't spotted them at all at this point. They know they're over there, just haven't seen exactly what they're doing. They haven't seen their loadout. They haven't seen anything. They don't know any information about them. So it's really bad for them to go give up the position that they're in, because they don't have, or in a trade-off to loot, basically, it'd be bad to go both loot and both chase this other guy because they don't know about the other stuff. But what does suck is that they're both doing the same thing. They're both zoning. They're both farming mats right now, and they're both not getting any loot, right? Because I'm pretty sure he only has an AR and maybe a shotgun, and obviously we can see what this guy has, what Ghost has in his inventory.
Yeah, it's coming right there.
Yeah, but this is perfect, right? This is what we talk about.
There we go.
Is that the other team?
Look, they immediately paused, right? He was like, okay, we're gonna push, but they immediately paused as these guys realized what's going on. This is good spotting. I wish they would have seen him a little bit earlier, but this is good.
I think that could be. No, that's the other team. That's the other team.
They hit the other guy. They don't know where he. They don't know where he.
Okay, the other guy rifted, by the way.
Is he by himself?
The guy that they were tracking earlier. I'm not sure why he rifted, but he did.
No, there was another guy there. There's one.
Let him come in. Let him come in. Yeah. Go. Beam him.
Good timing. The only thing I would say, like, and I don't know if this was actually possible in the game. Obviously, game by game, different things would be possible. I prefer to have Jolzy in the back with the AR and Ghost with the P90 up closer. And if that's not the positions that you guys like having, then I would at least trade weapons.
He's white.
30. How much you hit him?
Only like 9.
And that's something you can discuss early. Anyways, we're in the engagement phase now, and the engagement phase really, unless you're low mats, which these guys are, everything is going to be just like any other engagement, right? You want to pinch, you want to get flanks going, you want to get call outs with HP, all that stuff is very important. But the awareness there of the weapon that the guy has is very important, right? He says this guy only has, I don't know, I'm not exactly sure what he has. And figuring out actual loot. This will go back to something I'm going to talk about during the pre-engagement, which is the split. And calculating loot possibilities, right? This is, I'm just kind of spitballing, but we're just making shit up at this point, right? Trying to theorize exactly the entire thing. And then, yeah, so this is good. They both come at the same angle. They do kind of give up a little bit of position here, but they know that this guy's lower. They know he has no shield. So they push at him, and this is beautiful. The fact that he comes into one side of the wall.
Nice.
And the other guy pressures the other side. So, perfect. I'm not a fan of this, but it's okay. And I am a fan of this. I am a fan of him making sure that he spots and figures out what's going on, because this guy could be high, this guy could be pushing, this guy could have something other than what they expected. But we know he most likely has an end field. So, it's pretty funny. Okay. At this point, the tempo is good. They look for him, and they're fine. Okay, that's the end of this. Cool. Thank you very much, Ghost and Jolzy. I appreciate that. Thank you for submitting. All right. All right, on to Zycoma.
Yeah, people might land Dusty here. I see some memes that usually land Dusty. Try to get a good glide if you can.
Okay, so Dusty Divot. Dusty Divot is a fun one for me. I'm really bad at the first point I made, which is getting a good drop. All right, did I even say that? Oops, this is.
Guys right now, but
oh God, this one.
I'm probably not gonna read it.
I didn't actually talk about it. He made sure. This is really, really important in Dusty, because dropping Dusty you can scuff so hard. So make sure you make sure you have a good drop. Okay, but okay, so Dusty's interesting because there's only one strong position in Dusty, and that's the center. And so we talk about the split. When you're deciding your split, you got to basically pay attention to what they're going for, who has the better drop, who has what, right? You never want to go into something blindly and end up dropping at the same spot as somebody else. Like, I don't care whether or not, like, if you're gonna do that, you need to have the better drop than somebody. It's kind of irrelevant to what I'm talking about right now, but you need to basically be deciding on the split. And right now, the best position in Dusty Divot is a center, and we'll see their opponents take huge advantage of this, right? And they need to decide a split that gets them good loot against whatever they're gonna do. And that's why Zycoma was right in saying make sure you have a good drop, because it's so important to really fight off the center in Dusty Divot, and we'll see why, right? But if we're talking about their loot, look at the corner that they're forced in. Okay, and now look. Now we talk about the split, right? They could probably loot a little bit more of these corners, and then one of them is going to post up on the top and force them into this corner. This is all they have to do. They have to back out this way, right? Because if they try to go this way, this guy's going to chop them down, whatever, through the middle, and these guys end up grabbing all of this loot, all of it. That's all theirs. So they have a huge loot imbalance against Zycoma. They have way more loot than they would possibly have because of the split that they chose, right? Choosing this bottom right corner in comparison to everything else in Divot. So I think right now off the break, I say I obviously know what happens, and we all know that they do lose this fight. But off break, if I just looked at the radar and looked at and saw the guys in the center, I'd say they lose already. Just because of the way the loot pans out. And obviously you could end up getting a gold pump or something like that, which funnily enough on the other side they did end up getting. But just off probabilities, off of the loot that they possibly could get versus the guys in the center and the split that they have it better here. See exactly what I'm talking about, right? Already from the center, chugging him down, right? Already.
Only for 6 though.
Already, and he has no more movement, right? He can't continue to move. If he does, he can try, right? But he look at the mats he has. He can't farm anything because he's so constricted. He's so tight. They have really at this point there's almost no chance already.
One on top. Careful.
So Zycoma now knows that when he's peeking on this roof, his head's going to be exposed to anybody on main, right? So he's not going to do that again, right, Zycoma? All right, and this is good, right? You have to, like, he does get nets up there, right? And he does start farming, but they didn't communicate that. That's very important, right? It's very important for him to communicate, hey, nets, can you please stay up? Please watch me back. I'm going to be going down to get mats, right? Super important. Okay. Now what? Good use of cover, but I don't think any of them said anything about making a plan from the dynamite right here. Nope. Nothing. No plan. Nothing. I haven't heard a single word.
You're pushing?
There you go. They're pushing. That's something. No plan, though. No plan at all.
From where? He's on height. Oh, careful.
All right, so I think this is a big blunder here. And okay, so when we go back and we talk about what I said in the beginning about the split and how this is already probably a lost engagement, that doesn't mean you're going to lose this. Obviously, the loot can go in your way. You can make decisions that are going to be favorable, and you possibly could have backed out when you realized, hey, I have no chance here because the way that they're splitting us. So possibly get them out of here. Possibly get out of here. And you did really good at getting in the fight, even though your teammate was pinched. You did a really good job at getting in the fight. And then nice movement too, right? Really nice movement behind there, but you ended up left-hand peeking onto Demo.
He's white.
And so you dead.
Almost got him, bro.
You dead.
Fucking good. No.
So I attribute this completely, well, okay, I attribute this to two things, right? The split being poor, okay? And then I attribute it all to Bizzle and Demo perfectly playing the situation. Like, and what we're gonna do actually is we're gonna watch their POV. So let's do that. Let's do that. From their POV.
Some randoms came up dancing to me.
Okay, he has a better drop right off break. But he has been dropping here for probably 6 months, so no big deal. You'll get better.
This kid's right above you though.
I got middle.
He's trying to contest. He's going left side to east. I don't know where he's
That was a beautiful glide, by the way.
Got a new pump. I'm lagging. I don't know why. I have my Twitch open. I'm getting really bad spikes.
I love this right here. This peak right onto where Zycoma is. This is where we saw that initial chip damage. This is what forced Zycoma to get all scared, right? Just right hand peeking this. He sees him coming out. Boom. Only 6 damage. But guess what happens? Zycoma starts turtling because of that. It's over from there.
I only have a big pump, so
Right, because Zycoma starts, he's like, oh shit, they're in the center, I can't move anymore. He's already established presence, okay? And now look, you just saw Demo going up on top. Now, as Bizzle backs out, Bizzle gets the loot. This is the split we're talking about, right? It's like this, okay? Bizzle's grabbing all of this shit. If he wants to, he can go and grab all that stuff. Regardless.
I got chest. Got a pistol.
And this is where he gets the dynamite.
I got dynamite too.
Right? And think about it right now, they're stuck because Demo is zoning them. He's zoning them. They're stuck on top of that building that's not very strong at all. So Demo is zoning from the best position possible. So keeping the opponents occupied and stuck in their split, in the initial split. Right.
Yep, they're just 1 of 5 sitting together. I don't know if both of them there. I shouldn't say sitting together.
Good use of early game materials here, not spending anything. He builds 1 stair and then rotates the ones that Demo had to get up on top.
Yeah, behind the east building.
Okay, dynamite.
Okay, good communication to exactly know where he was. He said east building, and we'll touch on that in a second. Well, actually, no, we'll touch on that now, right? Bizzle, Demo know every single one of these buildings. They have a name for it. They have everything already set. They know exactly. So he just says east building, and we go from here. Starts dynamiting it. This is perfect use of utility, right? You guys are low materials, and it basically flushes you out, right? Zycoma gets behind the tree. Perfect. Dynamites again. Demo pressures.
No way. Yep.
Hit 1 twice.
White. I'm gonna go
Nice
down.
tags onto nets. And at this point, you guys have a really awkward split.
SMG, nice.
Look at how he right angles this entire wall. Make sure there's nothing at all because Zycoma was there. He didn't see him go across. And now
On right side.
drop down right side. He makes the call. It's actually a little awkward because I think he thought that there was a gap there for Demo to be able to help him with.
Let's find a tree, dude.
And the lucky thing for Bizzle is that Demo came right at the right time. The timing was a little bit off for them, but still really solid. Really, really solid. I think everything before the actual fight was perfect for them. And if Demo was there a second earlier, it would have been flawless. Right? So anyways, that's the tempo. That's having that position of strength. That's forcing everything into their own fighting space. Okay. Next. All right. So we just saw
Right here.
Bizzle have a good engagement. Let us watch Bumpa and Strugs over at Racetrack. We didn't see the beginning, but I don't really think it's that important based on the split that typically happens around Racetrack, right? The split that typically happens around Racetrack is one person or one team diner and possibly broken, one team main, one team back, and possibly somebody splitting here, right? The fights take a long time to actually occur unless you 50-50 at Racetrack. Or Gus, as it's called, other people. All right, I'm gonna move it forward a little bit. I really like their plan here. They basically had a plan, and sorry if you can't hear. I'm gonna just repeat anything that's good, that's important to hear about comms. I'm sorry.
Max 1-3.
Let's mat out. Let's get a good base of mats, and then let's push. Because based on the timing of whatever happens over here in Racetrack, they should be able to just basically take high and fight. That was the plan. Okay, and so they have 700 mats now, probably each of them.
I don't see these guys.
And I think at this point, I think this is the guy right here. But I think at this point, they want to take this hill as probably the best position in terms of zoning everything, right? It's higher than this, slightly higher than this, slightly higher than this, but it can see all around, right? So you're very, very, very strong there.
I'm gonna go grab it at bleacher.
Okay, I'm gonna try to
They're
get
at bleacher.
him.
They're at bleacher.
He's white. He's white. Hit him twice. Other guys in the back. Rush, 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 rush. Other guys have bush in the back.
This is good. Picking up that extra dynamite is actually very key.
He's underneath
Kids,
me.
wait. Okay, okay. Focusing the bush.
Bumpa probably needs to make this muscle memory, placing that pyramid if you can't jump through it
Dynamite on his
properly.
teammate.
Okay.
All right, and now I think this is the difference in what Bizzle had for his utility, utility usage versus what Bumpa's using for his utility right now. Just they're both dynamite and clinger spamming this guy, which is, you know, okay. But really, are they gaining anything from this besides wasting his mats?
I'm dynamiting him again.
And do they even have a really good knowledge of what his mats are, right? At this point, I think they've looted all of Racetrack. They should have probably equal or slightly less materials in them. What are they gaining from all this utility spam,
Push him out, push him out.
if not any damage?
Other guys rampage.
I'm dropping. I'm going.
Finally, the stinks are probably hitting.
Nice.
Okay, he died because of the stink. Okay, perfect, perfect,
Other guys hitting
perfect.
mats.
So I take some of my words back a little
Dynamiting.
bit.
Okay. I'm sinking. Or throwing.
Going high. You get a low side. Low side.
That's the perfect usage of utility right there, is the dynamite spam and push on the side, right?
Yeah, I got the full kill. Hold on.
Perfect, perfect,
Blue, blue, blue.
perfect.
I dropped on top of him. I'm going. Here I'm
Getting
dynamiting.
the side.
And here I think the dynamite is starting to get a little overkill, right? It's 2v1.
He went up. Let's go
I'm breaking
left.
him down. I'm breaking him down. You got clingers to bring him down?
No, I threw him.
Yo, he's on one ramp. He's coming down.
Good awareness there to knock him down. Beautiful, beautiful.
Hit him.
Dead.
Beautiful. Okay, is there anything else in this clip?
Park, I think.
I have 2. I got 2 minutes.
For SMG.
The tempo there is perfect. The utility usage is probably a little overkill, but it was good, right? It got the job done, and he actually ended up with more utility anyways because he could refresh. So perfect. Why would be tarp over if the solo is being pressured? Isn't that a waste? No, he got in a good position for it, right? He got in a good position to pressure. Shrugs was down on the ground. He could have easily ended up somewhere else, but there's nothing that the guy can do to go over Shrugs if he's right above
I'll
him.
drop SMG.
I wanna hold the snipe.
And it's a wood, right? It's not like he's wasting
two
materials.
Okay.
It's not bad. Early game, you
go
can
bridge.
use materials because you can go ahead and farm back
Wait,
up.
where's this buried treasure at?
So, okay, moving on. Moving on. Okay. Destiny's Jesus. Everybody start to spam. Get that spam going, boys.
I don't get people who don't have a landing spot and they just
64 points.
land spots with depending on the sound like this.
Okay, fatal drop.
Young gravy. Not me, dope.
I think it's just one team.
Everywhere, everywhere. We gotta look. Sculpey's looking.
Okay.
Here we go.
Stop this one. He's below me on my left. Might be going main.
There we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. One's high. He's gone
One's
front
long.
main. Yeah. We can push this guy immediately if you want.
Okay, so he's already making a plan to push somebody who has probably the, like, if we talk about the split, I wish I could bring up the map or whatever. But look at where Sculpey's position is. Okay, very, very, very far. I think he's looting the Grove. What is he even looting? I'm not sure. He's looting something really far. Okay, these guys are main house, they call it. And then the other guy looked like to drop over here or something like that. So the split is they get this. And Sculpey may be able to scoop this up. Okay. So if we think about it, early on, these guys are going to have the loot. They're going to have the advantage. Okay. But later on, then Destiny's Jesus and Sculpey are going to have probably an equal or better. Okay, so I don't agree with the fact that I'm going to just go for basically 2 floor loot spawns and a chest spawn and push the guy in the house who probably is going to have better loot than me regardless of anything.
I
right?
got blue pump. Should I just
I
rush
get a
it?
blue pump. Okay, cool. Now I know what loot I have. I don't necessarily know what loot they have, but they could still have better loot than me. It's not like I got the best possible, especially because now I get a deagle.
You wait for me.
No SMG, no AR, nothing like that, and no chest.
It's dynamiting me.
Dynamiting you.
Yeah.
For me a second.
I might just rush him, bro. I've got a blue pump and deagle.
Okay, we still have to keep an eye out on where Scopia is, right? This is exactly the timing and the tempo that you've got to be aware of, and you've got to be focusing on.
Middle floor.
Is how to collapse. If you're gonna make one of these early plays, which you totally can, right? Depending on exactly what kind of loot you get and whatever, you can decide to have a strat where you collapse quickly onto the house. You can definitely do that, but Scopey needs to be way. He's getting there. He's actually pretty close. Actually, pretty close.
It's just got a scar.
Where is he? Where is he? Oh, he's roof.
And this right here is a. This is what happens when you tunnel, I think. And there's another guy somewhere else, right? This isn't the guy in the house. It most likely isn't, but it could be, I guess.
I'm
Break him down.
Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I turn this down.
The other guy's shooting at me.
Break him down.
Okay. And this is, if you miss your shot, it's GG. You 50-50'd him.
Hit him hard white.
Coming.
Hit him for 30.
One shot, mate. He's so low. Come on. Nice. Finish him.
If Scopey was there and you knocked him down, you both could shoot him at the same time, it wouldn't be bad. But now it's bad.
Go for the res. Nice. Go for the res. I'm watching. He's built up. He's built up. You have to fight. You have to fight. He stopped. You can maybe grab the mats. Grab. He's boning.
I love the laugh though.
He stopped. Grab the mats. Grab. He's boning.
That's my new sub sound.
You can maybe grab the mats. Grab. He's boning.
Hold on, can you guys hear that?
You can maybe grab the mats. Grab. He's boning.
All right, let's talk about this a little bit more. Scopey's almost here. They think he's in the house, so Scopey's not really paying attention on getting up on the roof, but that's what he should be doing. And Destiny should be giving it a little bit of breathing room, right? Giving this guy a little bit of breathing room, forgetting about him, and basically, and he should be allowing and buying time for Scopey to get in the fight. And instead, what happens is this guy pushes up from wherever he is. Maybe he's the guy in the house. I don't know. Can't really tell. Scopey's not on the house yet, and you end up in a 50-50. So the thought should be really to get up on good position, right? Pressure this guy maybe for a second, but then get up on good position. And you don't really have enough mats to hold that position. So I would have definitely thought more mats early would have been better. Because it's not only just the loot imbalance, right? It's the mat imbalance. And if you push this guy, you're definitely losing the mat imbalance. You're losing that fight every time, right? These guys have all the furniture in the world. They have all the fences in the world. I think they have fences over here. Whereas all you have is walls and corn. Walls and corn over there. So now this guy gets the position of strength. You can't really do much from there. The only thing here, you could maybe be a little bit more patient. A little bit more patient. Give Scopey the time to get up with you. And then take the 50-50, right? Scopey's nowhere to be found. You miss your shot. And he just SMG spams you down.
He's so low. Come on. Nice. Finish him. And
If you were both there, it wouldn't be a 50-50.
go for the res. Nice. Go for the res.
Okay. Let's listen to the laugh one more time. We just have to, right? We have to listen to it one more time.
Grab the mats. Grab. He's boning.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And that's another thing, is the tempo was a little bit too fast. All right. A little bit too fast. Let's watch
Intelligent, but
another clip of Destiny's where his tempo's a little bit slower and a little bit more controlled and a little bit better. Okay, this is a longer one. How would you fight people in corn?
Bro, this
Zone them just like you would anybody else. I mean, corn sucks, but actually you'll see Destiny's use the corn perfectly in this position.
I think there's another team. Cheat.
You got to be one with the corn. You got to be one with the corn.
yeah. We can just up, rotate to retard hill if you want and leave. Well, I'm fine. I mean, Pirate Man. I'm gonna go. You go long barns, that's right. If they're gonna go
I'll
wrong,
go long and then you can
I'm gonna go front bounds. Don't fucking contest it. One went forest, one went red, right?
Okay, curious split again. Well, actually, I like this split. Okay, this is what I call stealing, right? Long barn. Okay, if you both landed over here, if they landed somewhere else, this is the split they're gonna get. And this is really the split they're going to get anyways, because once they loot the house, once they loot big barn or anything like that, they can push anything back out of here. So they really should get this. But because there's no early game threat, really, when you're around here, you can kind of just grab this house and back out. This is what I'm calling stealing, right? So especially in tournament play, it's very, very important to think about the splits in this kind of way where you do look for the opportunities to steal, okay? Where you do look for the opportunities to make the split long barn, this, Grove, and then all this shit over here, right? It's like baseball, right? You're stealing a base. You're legit stealing a base.
We can just leave if you want, if we get...
I think I got 8 in forest.
I don't have a gun, there's not a single gun in long barn. Actually, there's a ton.
And even better here, it's a super easy steal because you can just use the corn to back out. All right. Really nice. I love it. I love it, dude. This is perfect.
You wanna fight it?
0 shield. I'm down to just.
I
dip.
have a scar and a green tag.
Yeah, I got no shield, but yeah.
Do you wanna fight it or no?
Maybe. It's 2 house, 1 red barn. Who was red barn?
So there's a decision here that they need to make. It's based on whether or not, or based on what they get for their loot. And you can hear them trying to make the decision, which is, do you want to fight it or not? This is the point that they need to make that decision because they know there's people who already looted Red Barn. They know there's somebody who looted House, Main, as they called it. And they need to make the decision, do I just leave or do I fight? And they had already had in their backup mind, or in the back of their minds, that they can go loot Pirate Outpost, right? When they were landing, he said that. So that's possible. He could do that if he wants to.
He's not coming out my side.
But there's several decision points during this stage where you literally where you will be making these decisions all the time, right? When you get your initial split and you can see if you can steal a little bit more, and you can see what they're doing, you can start zoning, whatever. And until the engagement happens, you can always back out. You could always back out.
He's in white barn by there. We've got a 2v1 right now if we go for him. Because it's duos in forest.
Is he in it?
Hit shield twice. Broke his shield here.
Beautiful. Scopey grabbing the red barn is very good here. Now he can zone anybody else out of the fight if he needs to.
If you want to get for him. Go into this little red barn, I think.
The tempo's starting to get a little too fast. But they hear the fighting on the other side, so they can keep this high tempo.
In here.
One person at the front, one person from the window. This is an easy.
Yeah, I'll let you guys.
Alright, watch out. These other guys just finished killing the other solo.
Yeah.
They killed him around,
And then slowing it down. This is nice right here.
in corn.
Slowing it right back down.
He dropped forest and they just went corn.
The only thing I would definitely think that we need to be thinking of is looking more than just the angles that you think that there are people. And then grabbing these mats is good. I'm not sure why that duo was split like they was, but whatever. Did they get another killers? That guy's solo. Like, I don't understand.
Roof, you see that?
I don't understand, man.
Oh, yeah.
Don't understand. But here, he's getting the base materials. He's being a little sneaky. He's not building. He's not wasting anything, just like we saw Bizzle do.
Throwing a clinger.
Except he just throws a clinger and he gives up that position.
White
And
slices,
then
guys.
nice shots there.
White tags, I'm thinking another sting.
Nice
I
shots.
got white twice for the scopes.
And then not being afraid of the corn. One with the corn. Very nice.
I clang him. I clang this one. Knocked one.
Nice.
Oh,
I just fucking destroyed that kid.
oh, Destiny.
Later, bitch.
Let's
I
go,
just fucking-
baby.
I didn't like.
I really like that opener with the clinger. We saw, I think we saw Kuna yesterday open with the clinger as well. Very nice. And just very, very, very solid positional play there. The way that they pushed around Fatal, right? He started here, he goes to this cornfield, comes over here, pushes this way, and then pushes across. Because they're listening, they're hearing the fight the entire time. You actually saw Sculpey when he went up top. He went up here, and that's when they were fighting. So he did get information over here. I'm not sure if he called it or if he translated it correctly. But it was really, really key that he goes up on that high ground over there and gets the awareness that he needs to be able to push over here. And they know they just finished a fight, and so they push in with the tempo, with the proper speed. This is much better than the previous clip we watched. Welcome, Destinies. 64 points. Welcome, welcome. So yes. Very good, very good. Okay, I think we're ready for the next clip. Okay. Back to Bumpa.
So we got
There's
severe.
one at Rock Chase and there's one kind of like in the middle. They're like right in the middle.
I see him.
Okay. I talked about this position being good, and this position is also really good for racetrack, and this is exactly why. Basically, this is the positions of strength being honestly the most important thing here. He gets early tags and then is able to just quickly follow up from, because they're out in the open too. So in racetrack, there's honestly there's this entire area that's really, really hard to cross.
Second floor.
Because there's nothing you can do. There's no positions of strength anywhere there. There's no natural buildings or anything like that.
Off the shield.
And it's just nuts opener shots.
Yeah, fast tempo, fast tempo.
Yeah, he's calling the tempo even. Very nice.
Where is that? I'm getting this side. I got his back.
Dead.
And then pinching, perfect. One thing that I would say is that Struggs went up top, which was good. Okay, and Bumpa went to the side because he had the better track on where he's going. So I like the fact that Struggs went up top because, again, we just talked and we just saw why Sculpey going up top was good. He's able to spot everything else. He's able to zone the teammate out if he needs to. And from there, they can make a call. But Bumpa needs to call that he's inside of the bleachers, probably, because Struggs took a little too long to get into this pinch, right? But the fact that Struggs went up would have given him the opportunity to see that the second guy is over there, and when he does come down, he can block this wall, which is really nice and very important. The fact that you get that information is going to make that decision much more easy for Struggs to be able to make, to block that wall.
Other guys at the
Ooh, there's that movement that we like to see.
Headshot, headshot. Throwing a clinger at him.
Okay, and then another opening shot, which is just perfect. And again, now, if we think about it in this way, this position is so freaking good in comparison, right? Because we talked about how open this entire area is and how very difficult it is to hide behind cover or anything like that. You like have to use the tires that are on higher elevation to kind of hide and move and bob and weave and stuff. But
hold on, I'm gonna keep spamming.
Perfect.
Slow tempo here, slow tempo. Yeah, play slow, play slow, play slow. Let's confirm the kill. I'm flanking right now. Nice, good shit.
Perfect. So calling the tempo is very good as well in terms of communication and all that sort of stuff. He called it early over here. He said fast tempo and then he said slow tempo. I really like that call. I think people should use that. Basically giving a little bit of gas and a little bit of brakes to your teammate, knowing exactly when to kind of split the different speeds. Ooh. Let's go, Bumpa. All right. Moving on. We're moving through this, boys. Okay. Alright, we have our friend Minetrix, who actually did such a fantastic job and sent me 30 minutes of worth of early game footage. Fucking fantastic, dude. Let's go, Minetrix. I love it. Okay. This is, what I want to talk about here is basically knowing your drops so well that you end up being able to loot something so fast and so efficiently that you have regardless of whether well, it's still loot and balance based on because the way that this plays out, but the fact that he's able to loot all that he does and then push into them, it just makes it so easy for him to win the fight because he gets so much freaking shield and everything, and he's just so efficient. All the mats he has, and he has such a strong plan and thought process going into how he loots this area. Did we watch any solos yet? I don't think we did. This is the only solo we have, I think. Let me think. Yeah, so let's actually turn it up because he's talking about his process to me.
If you got a fight there, let me show you my rotations actually. So I go over there, I loot the roof there, head down here, loot this.
He's very, very precise about pretty much everything that he's breaking. Very precise about the path he takes inside of this one building. Very, very good.
I usually like see someone's over there, and I don't eat. If there's like a chest and a really good item, I'll head over there out in the open, but usually not. I have this stuff here. Sometimes I farm on this metal. Right now I can, so now there's no one here. I really shouldn't know since it's storm's decent. Yeah, it's not too bad.
Checking the zone, that's important in the pre-engagement phase, is always checking the zone, seeing how much time you actually have to contest. You can see he's literally has not stopped swinging his pickaxe the entire time.
I don't like the windows. I don't like being so close to them.
Almost the entire time. He's looted what, 4 or 5 chests already?
Best on guns so far, but Happy has like 34 possible chest spawns or something crazy like that.
And you can tell he has a thought because he talked about how many freaking chest spawns there are. Anyways, let's basically speed this up. Look at the loadout at this point. Blue pump, AR, silence SMG, big pot, 4 minis, full shield, 500 mats, or 500 wood, 200 brick, 200 metal. Fucking amazing. And he's even gonna get even more metal here with the cars. Okay, finally decides it's time to fight because he heard these guys fighting over there. I turned it down just because he's talking over everything, and I'd prefer not.
That's actually good though. It's kind of good because then if I get the kill, I get person gets the loot.
And this is something that you can do in duos. This is something that anybody can do really in solos and duos. And this is what I talk about the split. Look, he actually got all of this to himself. Now these guys got this, and he was actually checking through the windows the entire time, making sure nobody's encroaching on his space, and that's how he's able to get all of that. So they ended up looting this, he ended up looting this, they ended up fighting, okay, and now he's looted all of this by the time they're finishing their fight. By the time they're finishing their fight. I'm curious on the decision to go down instead of through the top, but just really nice shot. The guy had no idea it was hitting him, especially because the stinks were on the other side. And you can see this guy really didn't have much at all because he's spending it all fighting this other guy. This is a perfect timing on a third party, and he ends up getting both kills. That was a nice cone. He was gonna just go out the stairs like that, but cone's perfectly nice. Reset. Solid. All right. Basically the only point I had here was the efficiency of his loose path and how that perfectly times into being able to clean up on this fight. Because you saw, I don't know how much damage you got. The first guy only did 100, and this guy looked like he only did like 130. They're both low. So nice shots with the pump. Good timing on the fight. It's perfect. Perfect. All right. What am I talking about here? All right, let's go over to our good friends, Orby.
But yeah, I gotta get in the habit of like being more diligent with my recordings.
Okay, so in this case, I wanted to talk about. This is another area where it's kind of like pretty.
I need to show you it after this game. Remind me to show you the tank clip after this.
The split is pretty wide. Okay, where the split is pretty wide. Same as racetrack, basically, because you can land. Well, we'll get when we get closer. Wow, the quality on this is really bad.
A guy who's super drunk and somehow ended up in a tank.
How's this even look?
Trying to tell him to get out of the tank, and he's not having it. He's like, I'm literally in a tank and you're not. You're not my dad.
Yeah, this is really bad quality, so we're gonna speed through it.
I'm landing close side.
The people of us, he's low.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they know there's one team behind them coming, and then one team here going in as well.
Two sets of people.
We alpha. Let's go, dude.
Okay, I'm basically gonna speed through this because I can't really see much at all. I thought it downloaded better, but I guess I downloaded it wrong.
I have a combat.
The point I'm gonna make is the split here is very similar to racetrack in that there's the outpost over here, there's the racetrack thing there, and then there's the entire junk, and then there's the splits within each different little location. Landing on the AR is very nice. Racetrack and studio. There you go. You call it studio.
Him once 30 white. 30 white. You got him. Nice. Guy on me.
Oh yeah. I remember. So this guy actually leaves and dies. Just pretty fun. Or he just leaves the game. GG. Thank you, Epic, for making the leave game button a mechanic. Beautiful, beautiful. He left. Okay, and it's good awareness on them and good knowledge of the timing because they end up catching the other team and realizing exactly what they're going to be playing, especially because they have zone. The guys that landed racetrack and what they call it studio.
I've got a blue pump.
Sweet. I'm just gonna.
And good again that they're thinking about exactly how to call everything. Very nice, very nice.
I have a blue SMG.
The only thing I want them to do a little bit better here is try to spot these guys during this phase, right? They kind of blew up the high ground that they could have been, which is the building, so it's kind of awkward. They could go llama and spot, but if you go llama, you end up getting split a little bit, and it's really awkward, especially if they have the push timing that's perfect. I saw that in one of the other clips.
And then we got actually probably smart to do two. Or like I didn't even. Look, buddy, you're there, and they want to fight us.
Yeah, I've got pretty good loot too.
I have a pump or pump compact, so.
Yeah, I have a pump blue SMG.
And when you think about the loot and balance, they should have better.
Cool.
Better or equal.
200 wood, 300 metal, pretty much no brick. All right, there.
Yeah, right here on me, right here. 30.
Yep.
I don't
3,
have an AR.
2.
Lead it.
No shield, bro.
Okay, so this is just an example of good awareness leading to they know these guys are over here and they come push over the hill at the perfect time, and it's nice. Nice.
Alright, we have no idea where his teammate is, but yeah, take high.
Come high.
Yep.
That's good as well. The call that Horby just made, we have no idea where his teammate is.
I hit him. Shield broke.
Yeah, I'm pressuring.
And this is all fundamental fighting, right? This engagement, once they get those initial tags, and this was a mistake by these guys not to be paying attention and not trying to spot exactly where the guys landing junk were going to be coming from, especially because they probably heard the fight early and then they probably know that it was over.
I still have one more stink to pepper. I'm coming low.
Knocked one. The other one took a rift.
Okay, after this, it's just good mechanics and fighting. You saw how he was shooting the guy who's pushing for height while Science was fighting up there. Easy peasy. Okay, this guy continues fighting. But it's a 2v1. Good stink. Probably could avoid using the stink. but they do need to get this guy off a high, so it did force it, so that was good. And then shooting. And then now, this is perfect, right? We talked about this during the endgame studies of Katowice. It was when on low ground, both teams, they ended up going different sides and pinching perfectly.
I'm guarding. Careful. I don't have an AR. I don't have an AR.
Yeah, just come with me. Just come with me.
Okay, I'm coming up the other side. Be careful. I just broke.
Perfect.
Nice.
Perfect. Okay, good awareness. Very good awareness on the drop. Let's move on to the next one. Let's check my little handy dandy document. Okay, back to Manetrix.
Okay, here we are. Let's go. Hey, Ballatw, how's it going? I'm submitting this to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna say everything over again because I said it in the last thing, but like that match, the last match, I went happy. There's like 2 other guys there, but they all just left, so I didn't find anyone. And just stood there and it died at the storm, and then I died at the storm.
All right. So unfortunately, I'm making an example of probably Manetrix here when he was clearly occupied with talking specifically to me. So it kind of sucks, but he needs to be paying attention to how many people are landing happy with him. He actually sees it on his screen and he doesn't make the call. And this is what I'm talking about in that early game. Look, he sees 2 people. He doesn't pay attention at all. At this guy's landing here. And this guy's landing somewhere over there. I want to know exactly. Oh, there's 3 people. He has no idea what just happened. No idea what just happened. Just going with his loot path. And this is, unfortunately, we talked about how this is so good that he has such a solid plan on going through everything and whatever. And how efficient his looting pattern is. But it ends up biting him in the butt here as he doesn't really have an idea of what else is going on around the map. Goes through his loot path. Okay, here we go. We're in the fight. I didn't realize it was so early. Good shots. I think you need to escape here immediately. Yes. Okay, because you don't have the loadout that you need. You do have the rift. Okay, now we could possibly decide to go back. But regardless, you got a little bit of tags already. I don't necessarily want to fight this guy, but he's going to anyways. Gets a nice shot. And because he wasn't paying attention, he gets tagged, and now he's in trouble because there's 3 people who know where his position is now, and it's probably game over from here. This guy with the single balloon strat. That's beautiful right there, by the way. Ducking underneath that, breaking the wall. Oof. So beautiful. Letting them fight a little bit. Decision point here, man. How many people are around? Are you going to be able to heal up? Got to start thinking, can I escape? Do I have what I need? Do I have what I need from my loot? Can I escape? Are the questions that you need to be asking right now. Because now you're running out of mats because that 3rd party came in. Nice trap, by the way. Unfortunately, didn't get him, but it was really nice. And then another 3rd party because you were not paying attention. You were not paying attention. And it's over. But I do want to touch on how fucking sick this was right here. Nice edit. Tries to get the shot. Ducks down below. Breaks it. Ugh, it's just beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. That's the importance of paying attention exactly during your drop and then spotting during your looting phase, right? Spotting during your looting phase. Very, very, very important. Okay. I think I have one more clip for you guys, and it is our good friend Bumpa again. This one's a long one.
someone.
Oh, funny that you mentioned Morgalsi.
No, I'm good.
There's
I'm
an
good,
elite
I'm good.
agent coming with us, 50-50.
Oh, it's the
You go
fucking
front?
kids from earlier. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if we can. It's 50-50 front. You going diner? I'm going bleacher, I think.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going.
This
going
guy's
bleacher.
50-50 in bleacher.
I got
Oh,
an
he backed
AK.
off. He backed off.
He did?
Yeah, yeah. I got
You
minis.
both went? Okay.
They both went
Should
front,
try-
and then one's
should try-
diner.
Okay, the split is awkward here. I want to talk about the split already because it's important going later. So let's watch it just slightly again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we see definitely one team going diner. I don't see anybody necessarily going main.
I don't know if we
Can't call that at this point though. Oh yeah, yeah, right there. I see them right here and right there. Okay, I don't see anybody going over here yet.
Going diner? I'm going bleacher, I think.
Okay.
I don't know where you're going.
This guy's 50-50 in bleacher.
I got
He
an
backed
AK.
off. He backed off.
He did?
Yeah, yeah. I got
You
minis.
both went? Okay.
They both went
Should
front,
try-
and then one's
should try-
diner. You wanna go diner?
Can we
Let's go back.
Did
Let's go back.
anybody
Let's go back.
back?
Let's go back. Let's go back.
I have a scope there.
Okay, they didn't see anybody back, but they should have checked it. I didn't see Bumpa personally look at it. I don't know if Strugs did. I don't know if they called it or anything like that. But I definitely think that they could have possibly backed off towards back over here, that they call it back. Yeah, Strugs is already in chat saying this drop sucked. Whatever. They should know whether or not there's anybody over there. They probably should have dropped over there. That would have been much better, or at least split. Maybe they could have split. They could have split bleacher and back. That would have been really nice. Okay, but they know there's somebody over here, and they know there's somebody over here. Possibly two teams here. I'm not sure exactly. I'm pretty sure it was only one. I'm pretty sure they were trying to get a split on bleacher and the other place. And one thing that possibly that this guy did when he was gliding over here towards bleacher was try to fake him and get them both to land bleacher. But regardless, diner has probably this kind of split. Middle has kind of this split, and looks like it's going to end up a split like that. Okay, so they know there's a team over here. They know there's a team over here. Go, go, go. They need to visualize that right away.
I scoped. That was such a weird drop.
Yeah, I fucked up my diner drop.
Well, knowing diner, that kid, they're gonna W key him.
Yeah.
And this is cool too. This is something that you'll end up in tournament play. They're already having it happen in pop-up. But they know the diner guys, because they saw their skins, they know who it is. They know they're going to W key front. So they're already thinking about it. Okay? That thought kind of evaporates though.
Well, I'm gonna say up top, and literally just farm and sit there with scope there, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Just give me loot.
You saw one over there, by the way. I know it's very difficult to do and see while you're doing something. We did see him crossing just now though.
I don't know if anybody went crack.
I'm dropping a mini for you right here.
Okay, I'm literally.
If I'm main right here, I do not want to be trying to cross, except if I do a fast cross, which is what they are doing. But I really don't want to be crossing because diner team could come and pinch us, right? And basically act as a squad on your duo. That'd be really rough. That would be really, really rough.
I got it. They're right here, north. They're on me. They're on me.
Coming.
They push us. I'm saying hi. They're close. Let's say hi. Say hi. There's one on the
Back
right
up.
as well. Rock chest. Rock chest.
Ooh, that was close.
An AR to fight that guy.
Just wait for the team. Wait for the other team. I'm telling you.
He's in the bottom.
Yeah, he's in the bottom. He's hitting chest. He might have angles soon. He's still on the bottom. He's under you, under the stinks. You're connected by one thing.
Grab the stinks.
Getting
But
TNT.
dynamiting you. Just play slow. Trust me.
Okay. At this point, I need to know. This is still pre-engagement, right? I need to know what's going on the other side. I need to be trying to spot those guys. And whether it's Strugs or Bumpa doing it, you need to get the information on what's going on over there. Are they going to the cactuses and leaving, or are they coming and pushing main like you think they will, right?
He's coming up behind me. He's at the door west.
This is hindsight, right? I've already seen the fight. I already know what happened. So this is hindsight, and this is hindsight for them too. But it is definitely something that they could have had going into their mind before this.
I'm jumping on the guy below.
Nice. Way to grab those.
I'm stinking.
Clinger on the outside.
I'm stinking him.
Go to the front. You saw me? dead.
Nice. I'm looking for.
Okay, I'm not really sure what happened to this guy. Like, I would have wanted to push and try to save Morgalzi there.
I'm going up. Can we go up?
I only have 187 mats.
I don't know where he went.
Yeah, neither do I.
I literally don't know where he went.
I'm going back up to my old build.
Nice. Going back up his old build. Nice, nice, nice.
I'm up.
I have a rift.
Go up, man.
I have literally no idea where Lamar is.
I think
You need to go up. Again,
I think he just left.
we need to find out where Lamar is, and we need to find out where the other team is.
He's here. Did I?
I'm making myself, again, I saw this clip already, so I know what the problem is. So I'm making myself out to seem a little bit smarter than I am.
I don't know where the diner team went. I have no clue. Team leader
We can get this treasure.
There, he had the thought. He just said, I don't know where the diner team went just now. He said, I don't know where the diner team went. So he's thinking about it, and that's really good.
Yeah, here I'm dropping you the rift if you can hold.
Yeah, I can hold it.
Not I can hold something. I'm holding a med kit.
Oh, they have a rift too? Fuck, dude.
Okay.
They have the zone, so they can fight this all they want.
Farming right now.
Okay.
But they both give up. This is huge. They both there's two unknowns, right? Where's the guy that they were fighting, Morgalzi's teammate, and where's the team diner? Where are they, right? And so they make a mistake by both coming down because they have two unknowns and they haven't figured it out. One has to be trying to figure out the information while one farms. One farms or loots, one gets the information.
I literally am.
Yo, let's go get this
I think he
treasure.
left the game. I really think he left the game.
It's straight southwest for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's possibly backed off and then left.
I did nothing. They do that. Nah, dude, there's no way they'd do that. That's fucked. Unless the diner team like sniped him, I don't know.
Oh,
I
just
don't know
remember
what
seeing him
happened.
die.
Wait, he built the metal up. He's behind us.
There it is. There it is, giving up that information. And this is crazy, right? This is really crazy. This was the diner team. Spoilers, this is the diner team.
He's got fucking dualies and he's beaming you. This is fine.
I'm getting full sent. I'm gonna try to keep height. I can't keep height.
I dropped him.
I dropped him. I'm gonna try to pop a kit. It's all you. 1v2. They're jumping on me. They're below.
He just. Oh my god. This kid is on the most console
Boop. Booped. Ah, that's actually hella smart, Bumpa. That's actually hella smart. Going geyser at RV and then coming and flanking. That's really smart. That's really smart. Okay, so that was all like. That was just really smart by them. Then I was gonna say like. I don't know how, like, they crossed this entire way without you guys seeing them at all, right? I was very confused. So if they actually did that, then that's hella smart. Regardless, I definitely think the mistake here, if one of you guys stayed up and one of you guys farmed and then you made your escape, would have been better. Just because, especially, like, even if we're just thinking about, is Lamar there? If Lamar is there, then that would have been still the right play, right? If we discount that entire other team, right? If we discount that entire other team, would have been the safer and better play. Figure out exactly where he is and back out. And so that's what we talk about keeping the awareness always going. All of that. Okay. That's a wrap here, boys. Guys, if you're on YouTube watching, thank you so much. Make sure you like if you do like this type of content. If you're interested in getting in your videos next time, every Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be doing this on Twitch. So make sure you get your VODs in by Monday evening. And I'll be posting like the topics. If I do a topic-based one, And I want you guys to let me know in the comments below and in Twitch chat and whatever, in DMs and Discord, everything. Let me know how you guys like this little format. I think I like it better just because it gives it a little bit of focus and I can kind of pay attention to exactly what we're going to be talking about and whether the content is going to be good, right? I can kind of keep that ahead of time. I really like it, so hopefully you guys did too. Let me know. Other than that, again, join my Discord. It's going to be in the description below in order to find out how to submit your VODs. And Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, submit your VODs by Monday. Peace!